breaking down every game, every day in Major League Baseball. This is the Baseball Betting Show. Here is your host, Greg Peterson.
Hey, warmer from the low. Welcome to lovely Las Vegas for the Baseball Betting Show with myself, Greg Peterson, now part of the VSiN family of podcasts. We've got a great podcast for you, as we're going to be joined in segment number 2 by one of our good friends, William Boor, does such great work over at Action Network. We need to recap what we've all seen in the first half of the season with him. We'll get his thoughts on the Home Run Derby, if he's got any plays there. And then in the final segment, I'm going to give you guys what I'm taking a look at in the Home Run Derby, my outright winners, how I have rated all 8 of these guys in terms of their odds to be able to win the Home Run Derby, which ones have value, which ones do not. And I'll give you 1 or 2 derivative plays as well. I'm going to sit here and say that I'm the Mona Lisa Vito of Home Run Derby betting. I think I got 1 pick correct with Trey Mancini winning a round in the Home Run Derby a few years ago. So this is not one of those times where you want to be putting all your shekels in the middle. These are not bets that you want to be like mortgaging the house on or anything like that. These are coffee money bets. These next few days, we're going to be getting much more baseball here in the second half of the season. We're going to have plenty of opportunities there, and I'm going to be with you guys every single day for those. So have no fear there, but want to make sure that I'm still giving you guys something here. So we'll get you guys those Home Run Derby plays in the final segment. If you do have a question, comment, segment idea, what have you for this podcast, you have 1 or 2 ways to be able to fire those in. First one is my Twitter / X timeline at gunit_81. Keep in mind there's CM. Amy does not matter, so as per usual, please do send these into the timeline. The other way is find an Apple Podcast review. If you rate this podcast 5 stars, it's very much appreciated. And then from there, you're able to fire in whatever you'd like to hear on this podcast via that 5-star review. Well, I did not get in any Twitter / X questions today. Boy, did we have a fun day of baseball on Sunday. Let's take a look back at it, try to find some trends, and try to get to know these teams a little bit better.
Games from yesterday is Greg buzzing about. Here is the rowdy recap.
The Pittsburgh Pirates were 1-9 in Paul Skeens' last 10 starts, and they got off the mat in a big way. 14-5. They take down the Milwaukee Brewers. Robert Gasser got gassed. 7 runs allowed over the course of 3 innings. Gives up a pair of bombs. Marcell Ozuna, 8th home run of the campaign. Henry Davis, his 8th home run season. Jared Koenig, no outs out of the bullpen. He gives up 5 runs, so he now has a nice hearty 9 ERA. Grant Anderson gives up 2 runs in his inning work. Craig Yoho, he comes in for a scoreless inning, and Bryce Wilson, I believe he's a former Pirate, 3 shutout innings out of him, but way too little, way too late, and not like Paul Skeens lit the world on fire, but more than good enough to be able to get the win here. 2 runs allowed in 5 1/3 innings from there. Isaac Madsen, pair of outs out of the bullpen, scoreless. Brandon Iser, he would give you a scoreless inning. Now, Bryce Durang does get his 14th home run of the campaign. Antoine Kelly, he comes in for 2 innings. He gives up 3 runs, but team was still able to do way more than enough to be able to get that one in. The Baltimore Orioles get this one in 8-2. They take down the Kansas City Royals. Royals just continue to be royally awful. Seth Lugo, not long in this game. He gives up 2 runs over the course of 4 innings, including a home run as Leody Taveras gets his 4th home run of the campaign. From there, you would have Samuel Basayo take Lucas Ursic deep. For Ursic, he gets his 16th for Basayo, 16th home run in the campaign. Ursic gives up that home run in his inning work. Matt Strom was really the guy that let you down here. 5 runs allowed in 1/3 of an inning. Steven Cruz was able to give you a scoreless inning. John Schreiber, a pair of outside the bullpen scoreless. Beck Way was able to give you a scoreless inning as well. And then the Wizard of Boz, Shane Boz, 9 punch-outs. He only lasts 4 2/3 innings. He gives up 7 hits, but 2 runs, 1 of which was earned as the Royals went 1 of 10 with men in scoring position. Anthony Nunez, a scoreless inning. Grant Wolfram and Yenir Cano, don't you know? They both give you a pair of outside the bullpen scoreless. Andrew Kittredge, Uncle Rico Garcia, they're both able to give you a scoreless inning. The New York Mets just continue to struggle. They are by far the least profitable team in all of baseball. If you've bet their money line for $100 in every single one of their games this year, I believe you are now down $2,380. 3-2. The Red Sox get the win in extra innings. As for Zach Thornton, 7 shutout innings. He was actually really good in this one. And then Peyton Tolley and Brian Bale, they sort of take the piggyback approach in this one. For Tolley, he gives up 1 run over the course of 3 2/3 innings. Brian Bale, he gives up 1 run in 4 1/3 innings. Does give up home run to Francisco Lindor. For Lindor, his 5th home run of the campaign. Then Aroldis Chapman, Garrett Whitlock, they're both able to give you a shutout inning. And then for the Mets, you had Luke Weaver give you a scoreless inning. Devin Williams, of course, he blows the game. 2 runs, 1 of which was earned. That causes extra innings. And then Brooks Raley goes off the Rayleys. He gives up the unearned run in the 10th inning as being able to drive that one in. Anthony Siegler, a sacrifice fly, so that was big for them. The New York Yankees get a 5-3 win over the Washington Nationals. For Cade Cavalli, pretty much piggybacks off of Andrew Alvarez. Alvarez came in after Cavalli gave up just 2 runs over the course of 6 innings. Alvarez has been a starter, gives up 3 runs in 2 innings. Felt like a little bit of a fish out of water situation there. Justin Lawrence was able to give you a shutout inning as well. Will Warren, nice start here. 1 run allowed over the course of 5 innings. He was cranked deep in this one by James Goodwood for his 28th home run season. Then Curtis Mead, 17th home run season off of Tim Miller, gives up that home run in 2/3 of an inning of work. On El Shavili, unearned run given up in his inning work. Jazz Chisholm had a throwing error that really hurt him. And then Ryan Yarbrough out of the bullpen scoreless. Paul Blackburn walks the plank. He was able to give you 2 shutout innings, being able to give you lots of shutout innings as well. How about the Cleveland Guardians? They get the job done by a count of 5-2 over the Miami Marlins. Tyler Phillips, a lot long for this game. He gives up 2 runs over the course of 1 inning. This was a bullpen game for the Miami Marlins. As Calvin Fauché, 2 shutout innings. Tyler Zuber, pair of outside the bullpen scoreless. Michael Peterson, great name, gives up a solo home run in his inning work, so not great there, as he was taken deep by Brian Rocchio, 8th home run season, and Chase DeLauder off of Pete Fairbanks, his 11th home run season. Fairbanks has not been good. Solo home run given up in his inning work. Lake Bakar had 4 outside the bullpen scoreless, and then you had Cade Gibson, who can give up an unearned run in his 2 innings of work, and Troy Cantillo, 9 punch-outs, 1 earned run, give it up in his 5 innings. So he was solid. Cade Smith did give up a home run to Griffin Conine, 5th home run season in his inning of work, but you had a trio of guys, Hunter Gaddis, Sean Armstrong, and Franco Ailman, all be able to deliver a scoreless inning, being able to deliver a win. How about what you got out of the Philadelphia Phillies? 5-0, they completely shut down the Detroit Tigers. For Drake Skubal, not overly long in this start, 2 runs allowed over the course of 5 innings from there. Condir Montero was Montero Bull, 3 runs allowed over the course of his 3 innings. Drew Summers, Bo Brisky, they combined for a shutout inning, and Zach Whelan and Nealon Wheeler. He was wheeling and he was dealing. 10 punch-outs, 6 shutout innings. Jose Alvarado, Orion Kirkering, Jonathan Bolin. They're all able to give you a scoreless inning. For JT Ginn, he had no juice. For the Athletics, 9-1. They fall to the Chicago White Sox. As for Ginn, well, he got juiced up by the White Sox. 8 runs allowed and 4 1/3 innings. Taken deep by Bryson Montgomery. 3rd home run season. Sam Antonassi is 6th. From there, Jose Suarez, 5 outside the bullpen scoreless. Mark Leiter Jr. and Justin Cerner both give you a scoreless inning. And Suarez actually gave up an unearned run. Shea Langoliers hurt him, so no earned runs, but an unearned run given up by him. And then Noah Schultz, he had no walks in this one. He had entered giving up over 5 walks per 9 innings. Gives up just a solo run in his 5 innings of work. Shea Langoliers, the man who had the air, well, Shea Banks for his 21st home run of the season. Then from there, Jordan Hicks, Sir Anthony Dominguez, they both give you a scoreless inning. And Tyler Schweitzer, great name, he was able to give you 2 shutout innings. I can tell that that's like a European Midwest name just from being out there in the great state of Wisconsin. The Walker Texas Rangers get it done against the Houston Astros. This by a count of 6-5. Josh Hader has been really good all season long. Actually takes the L in this one. Walk-off winner by Brandon Nimmo, an RBI single after for the Astros. They were leading for much of this game for the Astros. Yeah, Christian Javier give up 3 runs over the course of 3 innings. From there, Año de los Santos, Steven Cruz both give you a scoreless inning. Brian Abreu, he gives up a run in his inning work, and Brian King, 2 innings. He does give up a solo home run to Kyle Higashioka. Higgy, can't you see that's your 7th home run for me? And for Mackenzie Gore, well, he does get gored once. He gives up a solo home run to Jose Altuve, 11th home run of the season, gives up that 1 run in 4 innings. And then you would have the Peoples give up a home run to Cade Smith, his 12th home run of the campaign. For Ben Peoples, gives up that solo home run in his inning work, but Tyler Alexander, Cole Winn, they combine for 2 shutout innings. Robbie Alstrom gives up 2 runs in 1/3 of an inning. Peyton Gray gives up a run in 2/3 of an inning, but Jacob Latz, scoreless inning to be able to ice this one away. Being able to ice this one away as well. The Minnesota Twins, 4-2. They take down the LA Angels. Taj Bradley was not playing games in this one. 2 runs allowed over the course of 7 innings. Both of those runs, solo home runs, as Josh Lowe get low for his 8th home run of the campaign. And then home run number 4 of the season for Denzar Guzman, but more than good enough to be able to get it done there. And then Andrew Morris was able to come in for 2 shutout innings. Jose Soriano gives up 3 runs over the course of 5 innings. From there, Chase Silseth, 1 2/3 innings scoreless. Ryan Sefrian gives up a solo home run to Trevor Larnach, his 7th home run of the season. So the Twins just 1 game below 500 going into the All-Star break. Going into the All-Star break with some momentum. Hey, the Seattle Mariners, 8-2. They're able to take down the Rays as Free and Seymour, 6 runs, 5 of which were earned, given up in 3 1/3 innings as he was taken deep by Weston Wilson, his 2nd home run season, and Randy Arozarena, his 11th home run of the campaign for Arozarena, goes deep off of Cole Sulzer, gives up that home run in his 2/3 of an inning of work. Chris Roycroft, 3 shutout innings. Craig Kimbrell gives up a run in 1 2/3 innings. Kevin Kelly, and out of the bullpen scoreless. And for the Mariners, wholesale approach here. Emerson Hancock, 1 2/3 innings scoreless. Jose Ferrer, 4 outside the bullpen scoreless. Nick Davila, 2 shutout innings. Gabe Spire, Michael Rucker, they both give you a scoreless inning. inning. Andres Munoz, scoreless inning. Did have Edward Bizarro give up 2 runs in his inning. Jonathan Aranda, his 14th home run of the season, but good win for the Mariners, who have been just 21-29 on the road this season. For the Atlanta Braves, they've had the worst record in baseball over the last 35 days, but they do get the win here. 4-3, they take down the St. Louis Cardinals as Danny Young was the opener for J.R. Ritchie. Young gives up a run in 2/3 of an inning. Ritchie gives up 1 run in 4 1/3 innings. The Dodd-father, Dylan Dodd, he gives up a run in 1/3 of an inning. DDA Fuentes, pair of outside the bullpen squirrels. Dylan Lee, Tyler Kinley, they combine for 2 shutout innings, and then Raciel Iglesias, squirreless inning, and Dustin May made a Mayday, giving up 2 runs over the course of 4 innings. Justin Brule, 1 2/3 innings, he gives up a run. Goran Gasefo, 1 1/3 innings, squirreless. Ryan Stanek, he gives you a squirreless inning. Jojo Romero gives up an unearned run in his inning of work, and for the Braves, they win this game despite the fact that they left 12 men on base. So they find a way to be able to get that one to the window, being able to find a way to get this one in as well. The Chicago Cubs, 8-4, they're able to take down the Cincinnati Reds. Andrew Abbott gives up more than 3 earned runs for the first time in 14 starts. 4 runs allowed over the course of 4 innings. From there, Sam Moll got mauled. 2 runs allowed in 1/3 of an inning. Chase Petty, 1 run allowed in 2 innings. He took the loss, so he's feeling petty about that. Pierce Johnson, solo home run, give it up in his 2/3 of an inning of work. Alex Bregman, starting to give you something. 9th home run of the season. Then Rhett Lauder, 2 shutout innings for Matthew Boyd. Not great, but he got the win. 4 runs allowed in 6 1/3 innings. And Eugenio Suarez, 11th home run of the campaign. Gavin Hollowell, he goes for 5 outside the bullpen, scoreless kill. Theo Bart, Jacob Webb, they're both able to give you a scoreless inning as well. How about the Diamondbacks being able to score a series win over the LA Dodgers? They get the job done by a count of 5-3, as for the Brat, he was able to go out there for 3 innings and he gives up 3 runs. Mitch Brad in his second career start, and the bullpen from there had his back because he gave up a home run to start the game to Shohei Ohtani, 22nd home run of the campaign, and then 6 shutout innings here from the Diamondbacks bullpen. Taylor Clark was able to give you 4 out scoreless. Ryan Thompson, Jonathan Loaizaga, Juan Murillo, Paul Sewald, they all led a scoreless inning, and then a pair of outs from Kevin Ginkel scoreless, and Emmett Sheehan was relatively solid in this one. 3 runs, 1 of which was earned in 5 1/3 innings. Edgar Enriquez from there gives up a run in 2/3 of an inning, and for Sheehan, he was hurt by Max Muncy and Andy Paz out there in the field, and then Brock and Roll Stewart, Tanner Scott, Evan Phillips, they all come in for an inning, and Phillips does give up a home run, as it was Tim Tebow getting his 3rd home run of the season. The Giants, they find a way to get past the Colorado Rockies 3-1. The final is Michael Lorenzen, actually a solid start here. 1 run allowed over the course of 5 innings. Brennan Bernardino, Jimmy Herget, they both had a scoreless inning, and Antonio Senzatella has actually been really good in the bullpen this year. He gives up 2 runs in the 8th inning, with the Giants going 2 of 6 with men in scoring position, and Trevor Old McDonald, nice start here, gives up a home run to Jake McCarthy, 10th home run of the campaign. That's all he gives up in 7 innings. Keaton Wynn, Eric Miller from there, they combine for 2 shutout innings, and the Slam Diego Padres, they get back to 500 entering into the break. 5-4. They take down the Toronto Blue Jays, as Kevin Gausman has been really good or really bad. He finally had a somewhat normal start. 3 runs allowed over the course of 6 innings. From there, Tyler Rogers was able to give you a scoreless inning, but Jeff Hoffman gives up 2 runs in the 8th inning. That was the difference, as Urban Marquez, he gives up 3 runs over the course of his 4 innings. For the Blue Jays to get a pair of bombs off of him. Nathan Lukes, his 5th home run of the campaign. Ernie Clement, his 8th, and then Ron Mananaccio and Kyle Hart, they both give you a scoreless inning. Audrey Motajon, he gives up 1 run over the course of 2 innings, and then Mason Miller, he was able to end a scoreless inning as well. And if you're taking a look at trend-wise, what we're getting in Major League Baseball over the last 7 days, it's been a little bit more underwhelming. Overall for the season, it's been a case where the overs have the lead on unders, but that has very much been whittled away. 707 overs, 702 unders, and if math serves me correct, I believe we're now up to 35 pushes. We need to double check that, but that said, with regards to favorites on the money line, they're at 56.2%, 788 and 615, and among those 788 favorites, a whopping 182 have failed to cover the run line. Meanwhile, over the last 7 days, 53 unders, 43 overs, and 2 pushes along the way, so a 55.2% hit rate to the under and favorites on the money line, hitting at 61.5% over the last 7 days, 59 and 37 with all but 11 being able to cover the run line. So that's what we're seeing in baseball right now, and that's what we're getting trend-wise. Coming next, how about if we talk about what we've seen here in the first half of the season, and a little bit about the Home Run Derby with our good friend William Boor of Action Network right here on the Baseball Betting Show with myself, Greg Peterson, now part of the Basic Family Podcast.
Breaking down every game, every day in Major League Baseball. This is the Baseball Betting Show. Here is your host, Greg Peterson.
And we're back here in lovely Las Vegas for the Baseball Betting Show with myself, Greg Peterson, now part of the VSiN Family Podcast. It is always a pleasure to be joined by William Boor, who's doing such great work over at Action Network, looking at this great game that we all know and love of baseball. I know he's doing a great job following a little bit of everything, doing an amazing job getting set for what we're going to be getting this football season, taking a look at the other form of football with the World Cup. They did a great job with the hot dog eating contest, in which we had some controversy there, and so much more. You're able to follow him on the old Twitter/X at the letter W, last name Boor, Boor, all together. And William, it's always a pleasure, my friend. Thank you.
Of course, Greg. Always happy to hop on, talk baseball, talk betting with you.
Absolutely, and not going to have a lot of games bet on the next few days, but that's what did you make out of the first half of the season here in baseball? Because I feel like there were a lot of surprise teams, and, well, I don't think I've seen a murkier league in my entire life than what we're seeing in the American League right now.
Yeah, I think it was an interesting first half. A lot of, like you said, a lot of surprises, a lot of weird kind of, if you're looking at the AL, especially the East and the Central, there's a lot there. I think the Mets are obviously a big surprise. The Phillies were a big surprise earlier, but if you told me the Phillies and Braves would be atop the division at the All-Star break, I would have seen that coming. So that kind of self-corrected. That actually, as I look at that whole NL East has been kind of crazy. I didn't expect the Mets to be bad. The Marlins and the Nationals both kind of exceeded expectations in their own ways. Phillies and Braves thought they'd be good. The AL West, I'm in on the Mariners, have been all year. They're only a game back. So at this point in the year, that's fine. But those other two AL divisions, the East and the Central, they're just all sorts of chaos for one reason or another.
Yeah, they certainly are. And when it comes to the American League, is there a team or two that you could see rising up? Because I still cling to the Blue Jays. I cling to the Rangers. The Rangers aren't letting me down. And Wyatt Langford coming back, I actually think that the Rangers have a good shot of making noise in the American League. And I keep waiting on the Blue Jays. And I'm still waiting on the Blue Jays right now.
Yeah, I see that. I think that's tough with, they're 11 and a half games back. And also, I really think the Rays and the Yankees are good. So I think that would be tough. The team that I'm probably going to spend some time digging into over the break, and there may be worth a futures look, I'm kind of intrigued by the Tigers. I mean, they're only 6.5 back of the division. The Twins, Guardians, White Sox, the three teams ahead of them, none of those teams, scare me all that much. If you look at run differential, them and the White Sox are the only two teams in that division with a positive run differential. And if you look at expected win-loss, the Tigers have played to 7 wins below expectations. That metric says they should be 51-45, which would have them winning the division right now. Obviously, no team is, perfect in every metric. So you can't just be like, this, if that. But it does show that, there's some positive regression that they could definitely dip into. And that division is certainly ripe for the taking.
Yep, it certainly is. And I'm going to be very intrigued to see what happens with the Detroit Tigers. To your point, that entire American League, it is a fascination. And in terms of teams that are exceeding expectations and falling short of expectations, how about if we look at the National League side of things, as we've got William Boor of Action Network joining me right here on the Baseball Betting Show, because the National League East might be the most intriguing race in all of baseball. It looked like the Braves were going to run and hide with things. Over the last 35 days, they now have the worst record in all of baseball, and the team with the best record in all of baseball, the Miami Marlins. What do you make right now out of this NL East, where the Marlins have come from absolutely nowhere whatsoever? They and the Phillies are gaining on the Braves very rapidly, and the Braves are just right now trying to tread water.
Yeah, this is wild. I think, the Braves, I think this break comes at a really good time because I still believe in a lot of that roster. But obviously, as you mentioned, something over the past month hasn't been clicking. So I think them just getting a few days off to reset will be good. The Phillies would be in, great shape if the first month of the season didn't count. But, those games obviously do count. But I think the Phillies that we've seen over the last couple months is definitely the team we expected all year, the team that's playing really well. If they can keep that up, I do think Philadelphia ultimately wins this division. But the Marlins, I don't know if they have quite enough to compete with those teams, but they have been really surprising. They're really good. They're definitely a team that I like betting, in certain spots. And they're a much better team than they have been in the past couple of years. They're young and they're really fun.
No question about it, man. I am going to be just very fascinated to take a look at this National League East. It's, in my opinion, going to be the best race out there in all of baseball because the NL West, the NL Central, looks like those are salted away in the American League, as we alluded to, man. And if you can make anything out of the American League, I really salute you. As we've got William Boor of Action Network joining me on the Baseball Betting Show, and when it comes to the second half of the season, this is going past just specific teams. Are there types of teams that you look at? Maybe more veteran teams, maybe more teams that rely upon pitching more, hitting more. What are you looking at in the second half of the season for some of these teams that might disappoint and might exceed expectations?
Yeah, I think you look for teams that are in wildcard races and teams that are getting people back. As far as buying futures, I like teams that, could possibly be buyers because then you're getting a boost. I think it gets tough the later we get into the year where you have to start questioning teams' motivations. Baseball, with the way the draft and everything's set up, we obviously don't have the tanking, that the way we have in the NBA or anything like that. But it does happen in more subtle ways where, maybe someone doesn't run first to third. Maybe, they don't foul off quite as many pitches. They're just kind of like, or they swing at first pitches on getaway days, stuff like that. So I think as we get later in the year, you just kind of got to be careful on teams either that are way down at the bottom of the standings or teams. I mean, there could be some times later in the year where the Dodgers, where it's like, hey, you're up 15 games in the division. Maybe you just know ahead of time the starter's only going 4 innings today and they're just kind of coasting and like shaping stuff up for the postseason. So I think obviously, for the rest of July and half of August, you're fine to kind of keep treating stuff as normal. But as we get closer to the end of the year, those final few weeks, I think motivations are really something to pay attention to.
Yep, I agree with you there. And going to be interesting to see if some of those young teams that have risen up, like the Nationals, the Cardinals, a lot of guys that aren't used to a 162 game season, if they're going to be able to maintain as well. And speaking of young guys, we've got a few in the home run derby, and I'm sure that you'd agree with me. This is not the event where you want to put all your shekels in the middle and be playing like 25 unit max whales or anything like that. But that said, how do you take a look at the home run derby, and are there any angles that you try to utilize when it comes to betting on this, shall we say, little bit of a crap fest that is always a lot of fun?
Yeah, so I try and, be analytical and smart about most of my bets.
Stone Cold Lead Pipe Block of the Century.
Yeah, exactly. Like I want to be smart on most of my bets on a day-to-day basis, look into trends, regression, who's pitching, bullpen travel, all sorts of stuff. When it comes to the Derby, I guess you can look into, splits. There is a little bit to, shape of field if you want to get into righties and lefties and stuff like that. But there's also just, as you said, it's also just such a crapshoot. Schwarber plus 340 is the favorite. That makes sense. As fun as Kyle Schwarber is, betting the favorite is not quite as fun. So I'm going to still kind of play the hometown angle and go a little bit further down the board. You've got Bryce Harper there at plus 800. He's slugging better at home than on the road this year. 10 homers each way, so that's fine. Familiar with the ballpark. Most importantly, I think has won a Derby before, has been in the semis before in 2013 and 2018. So he's familiar with kind of this, well, the format changes all the time, but familiar with competing in an event like this and what it takes. And that's pretty much as much analysis as I'm going to put into Derby bets. This is purely kind of a vibes thing at a big number, but give me Bryce Harper.
Yep, and I agree with you. And how much do you look at the man that is actually pitching to these guys as well? Because the one thing that I have found with the home run derby, it was always for Pete Alonso. I forget who it was that was his pitcher, but I knew he was always so great. What he mixed it up, things just went straight down the toilet bowl from there. But a big reason why I also like Bryce Harper, maybe I'm getting super nerdy on this, is that he's got Dino Ebel is going to be pitching to him, the Dodgers third base coach. He was the guy that pitched to Teoscar Hernandez when he won the 2024 home run derby. Is this an angle that does anything for you whatsoever, or is this a big giant nothing burger?
It couldn't hurt. Yeah, I don't want to put a ton of stock into it, but it's definitely better than nothing. I mean, I did mention Harper's familiarity with the event. You're right. Having a pitcher who has pitched in the event couldn't hurt, or just having someone who's used to throwing batting practice at some stage in their life is good as well. So I say, what the heck? If there's another thing that you can say is in your favor for a certain pick, then sure.
And then I will throw this at you as well, because there's one angle that I like outside of just the outright. I think Montaka Murakami is really going to struggle in this event. I'm getting him at plus money to miss the semifinals. I want to get your thoughts here because he was so good to begin the season, but he just came off the injury list a few days ago, did not hit a home run since coming off the injury list. That's a guy that I think could really struggle in this event because he's not even played in real games for about a month plus.
Yeah, I'm with you. I haven't dug into a ton of props, but I like that, especially at plus money. Like you mentioned, he's been hurt. This is, new event, all-star game, just kind of, it might even just take him a little bit to like kind of figure out what's going on or get in a groove or anything like that. I think that's a good play as well.
Absolutely. We're going to have a lot of fun with Home Run Derby. I'm sure that William Boor will not be putting 50 units on the Home Run Derby because he is a smart man, much like myself. He does such an excellent job over at Action Network, looking at a wide variety of things. William, let the good people at home know what's all on tap for you and how people can follow along on social media and other platforms.
Yeah, today was a good day, so this will probably be a 1-unit play.
Yeah.
But, yeah, 1 unit for fun, just so gives it a little more vibes while watching. But yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at WBoor, WBOOR, also in the Action Network app at William Boor _. All my bets and picks are logged there. Be sure to download the app, check out everything me and my colleagues are doing at actionnetwork.com. Once the second half starts, we'll have picks and plays for every single baseball game. We've even got NBA Summer League going on right now. We've got WNBA picks. We will have the final World Cup games. If you can bet it legally, we've pretty much got it covered.
Yep, these are coffee money bets here for the Home Run Derby, not mortgage payment rent bets right here. So, yeah, you certainly want to be taking a look at that. And don't worry, over at Action Network, they're going to have you covered when we got much, much more on the betting board in the coming days. They do such a great job there. William, one of the best. Big thanks to him for joining me right here on the Baseball Betting Show, now part of the VSiN Family Podcast. Coming up next, I'll get you guys who I like outright in the Home Run Derby here on Monday and get you guys perhaps a little bit of a derivative player or two as well. That's up next right here on the Baseball Betting Show with myself, Greg Peterson, now a part of the VSiN Family Podcast.
Breaking down every game, every day in Major League Baseball. This is the Baseball Betting Show. Here is your host, Greg Peterson.
And we're back here in lovely Las Vegas for the Baseball Betting Show with myself, Greg Peterson, now part of the VSiN Family Podcast. It's always a pleasure to be joined by our guy, William Boor, who does such great work over at Action Network. He does an incredible job taking a look at all things in the sports betting scene, whether that be baseball, whether that be taking a look at hot dog eating contests when it comes to the 4th of July. They really cover it all over there at Action Network, and every single time he joins me, he lends such great insight. So big thanks to William for joining me in the last segment. Now it is that time of the podcast. I give you a little bit of a different, shall we say, touch 'em all as we take a look at what we're going to be getting for the Home Run Derby here on this Monday, as I will give you guys exactly how I'm handicapping all these guys and give you a few plays. So let's touch them all.
If a game is listed on the betting board, Greg has a side and a total on it, so it is time to touch them all.
Do note that, as per usual, any changes that are made to these plays will be listed up on my Twitter/X feed at gunit_81. What I'm going to be doing first is I'm just going to be going through and I'm going to give you guys my exact percentage on where I think these guys should be in terms of their odds to be able to win the Home Run Derby. And then from there, I'll take a look at a little bit of the pricing, tell you guys who does/does not have value, and one or two bets that I think might have a little bit of value with regards to the derivative market. Now, as I was saying a little bit earlier on, these are your coffee money bets. This is not the money that you want to be having to try to pay the mortgage or anything like that. This is the Home Run Derby. Guys are having fun with it. If you have more at risk than the players that are actually in the Home Run Derby, that's not a place where you want to be. But that said, we're going to just go alphabetically with this. So this just leaves it very, very generic like that. For the 8 contestants, I had Ben Rice at a 13.7% chance to be able to win the Home Run Derby. So I think that fair value here is plus 630. And what that means is setting Ben Rice at a plus 630. If he'd be plus 631 or better, there's a little bit of value there. Plus 629 or less, there's no value. And then Bryce Harper, I think they should be able to win this event 18.1% of the time. So plus 452 is what I landed on there. Again, that means plus 453 or higher. He's got value. Plus 451 or less, he doesn't. Jack Haglione, 5.4%. I really just don't see it with Jack Caglione. You'd need to be getting at least plus 1,752 to have any value. You're not going to be finding that. Jordan Walker, I think that he's going to struggle in his first home run derby as well. Place him at 9%. That'd be plus 1,011 for you to be able to have value there. Junior Caminero, I've got him as my number 3 shot on the board, 16.5%. So plus 506 is where I set it at. Plus 507 or better. You've got value there. Plus 505 or less. No value. Kyle Schwarber, he's a favorite in my opinion. I feel like he's too big of a favorite in terms of a lot of these betting markets. So I personally feel like plus 421 is good value. So anything of plus 420 or less, I don't see it. I set him at 19.2% to be able to win this event. Montaka Murakami, I've set him at plus 953. 9.5% is where I've got his odds to be able to win this event. And then Wilson Gutierrez, 9%. Plus 10-11 once again with him. And the derivative play that I'm going to be giving out, and this is the one that I think has the most value in my opinion outside the outright winner, I'm going to be going with Montaka Murakami to not make the semifinals. I was seeing this at FanDuel at a plus 116. There's a lot of books that have yet to hang a lot with regards to home run derby, so shop around. I wouldn't be surprised if this gets up to plus 120, plus 125, even a little bit higher, because a lot of places have Montaka Murakami as a top 3 option to be able to win the home run derby. I just don't see it. This guy was on the injury list for a full month. Keep in mind that he did partake in a few Nippon Baseball League home run derbies out there in Japan, so he's got a little bit of home run derby experience, but still, I have my big question marks here with him. He hasn't hit a home run since the middle of May. It's going to be a completely new event for him here in the United States, and again, he never won this event in Japan either, so being able to get plus money on him to miss the semifinals, I think has a lot of value. Then in terms of to win the whole shebang, I'm going to be going with Bryce Harper. Right now, I'm seeing him at a lot of places in that neighborhood of 8-1, maybe a little bit higher, maybe a little bit lower. I felt like this should have been closer to about plus 450 personally. Bryce Harper has already won this event before, and for Bryce Harper, it was in his own ballpark when he did it before. That was back when he was with the Washington Nationals in 2018. Only other time he partook was in 2013, and he made the finals that year as well. He's got a track record of success in this event, and when it comes to home run derby, it's not just who's hitting the balls, it's who's pitching to him. And I love the fact that he's got Dino Abel pitching to him, which you're probably wondering, who in the world is Dino Abel? That would be the third base coach of the LA Dodgers. He pitched to Teoscar Hernandez in 2024 when he won the home run derby. Guy knows how to be able to get the job done. This is going to be in Bryce Harper's home ballpark for the Philadelphia Phillies. So I do think that you've got some good value here for Bryce Harper. Like I said, right around 8-1. You might be getting a little bit better. You might be getting a little bit worse, but I feel like he's being severely undervalued, especially when you see Kyle Schwarber being the big favorite that he is. And then again, always be shopping around. But if you're taking a look at some of you guys that do not have value, like I was talking about with Montaka Murakami, right now I'm seeing him at FanDuel plus 470. Not a lot of value there. Junior Camanero's plus 490. Anything of more like above $5, I set it at plus 506. I would be willing to get there. So if you can find like a 6-1, if he ever gets there, I think that there'd be a little bit of value. Jordan Walker at 6-1, I would need more than plus 1,000. Jack Caglione, I would need north of plus 1,700. Right now he's at plus 650. Again, Bryce Harper right now seeing at plus 800. That I think is really your value bet. Wilson Contreras is right now 11-1. I place him at plus 1,011, so a little bit of value, but again, I'm seeing much more value on Bryce Harper than Wilson Contreras, seeing like a 90-cent difference when it comes to something this big. I would probably need a little bit more to be able to get there. And Ben Rice, I'm right now seeing at plus 900. I did place him at plus 630, so if I were to place 2 bets, personally, I'm just riding with Bryce Harper. I'm just going to be going with my one future, but if I were to have a second option, I would be going with Ben Rice. I've liked what I've seen out of him thus far this season. He just feels like he's sort of built for this event a little bit as well. We have seen the Yankees have a little bit of success in this event in the past as well, and I do think that Ben Rice, he's going to be having a little bit of something to prove there. So my outright winner for here, I think that there's a lot of value on Bryce Harper. If I had to go with a second option, Ben Rice, and then my derivative play, Montaka Murakami to miss the semifinals at plus money. And that'll wrap things up for the Monday edition of the Baseball Betting Show, now part of the VSiN family of podcasts. Big thanks to our guy, William Boor, who does such great work over at Action Network. He joined me in the last segment. If you do like hearing from this fine podcast, Baseball Betting Show, you're able to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, and TuneIn. If you have a question, comment, segment idea, what have you for this podcast, you have one of 2 ways to be able to fire those those in. First one is my Twitter/X timeline at @unit_D1. Keep in mind, letters CM, they mean does not matter, so as per usual, please do send these into the timeline. And the other way is find an Apple Podcast review. If you rate this podcast 5 stars, it's very much appreciated. And then from there, you're able to fire in whatever you'd like to hear on this podcast via that 5-star review. I'm coming at you guys every single day, giving you picks and analysis on every game, every day. So I'll be back with you guys once again tomorrow for the All-Star game. Thank you.